Are we ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and anybody else who's listening, somehow, some way, we managed to get to 100 episodes. And today is that number 100. And here we are with Squares of the Roundtable podcast. Again, my name is Jeff Stein. With me is Ivan Rivera.
Hey, how we doing, man?
I don't know. I'm twitching as we speak. And we have Mike Boyle.
Happy 100.
And behind doing all the technical work, we have Mike Edwin.
Yeah, he's here too.
He's here too somewhere.
I've got a split personality.
Yeah, really.
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana?
Yeah, I put on the wig when I'm doing all the engineering work.
I want to see Mike wear the thigh-high boots and all that stuff. And,
how about no?
How about no? Yeah, we were talking about that before we started. About whether
I'm already starting shit.
Yeah, we're talking about whether Austin Powers or Wayne's World would be more recognizable now in the public eye.
Yeah, I still think it's Austin Powers. Especially because Fat Bastard's still a thing.
Well,
yeah, exactly. The "get in my belly" gift.
Yeah, that's still around.
Yeah, but I think Austin Powers. I mean, for all it's worth, yeah. I mean, there's memorable things that are being done. Memes come out every now and again, but I don't know.
Only one from Austin Powers is the "We're Not Worthy," pretty much.
That's Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, yeah, but Austin Powers
right.
There's a bunch of them, especially with Dr. Evil.
I mean, the thing is, here's the thing with Wayne's World, which is the part that everybody seems to remember is when they're in the car and they're doing Bohemian Rhapsody, which basically took Bohemian Rhapsody once again back up the charts again. And that's what people sort of remember.
That and the excellent, that little air guitar thing that they do, and they go excellent, you know.
Wow, and Tia Carrera looking amazing. There's somebody whose career never turned out where I thought they would.
Tia who?
Tia Carrera. It was Tia Carrera.
Yeah, the love interest.
Yeah, I thought she was going to be like the next big thing, and she kind of went
nowhere.
Well, I mean, she had a couple of movies here or there, because I know she did True Lies with Schwarzenegger, and I think there were a couple of movies here or there, but she really kind of just
kind of plateaued.
She came and she went, literally.
Yeah, maybe. It's funny, because Rob Lowe's in Wayne's World, and I totally forget that all the time.
Well, it's because of this rather forgettable situation in the movie.
No, but he was just a foil, but he was... also, part of that whole controversy, I think there was a sex videotape or whatever.
Was it really still?
Yeah, that was that whole sex scandal he was wrapped up in. Yeah, that kind of messed him all up for a long time.
Yeah, he's not the now serious actor Rob Lowe again, you know. Now he's like serious actor Rob Lowe. Before he was like, I'm going to be naked with Demi Moore in a bathtub Rob Lowe. You know,
I'm the sleazy...
that poor guy.
Sleazy, Rob Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Ivan, how was your weekend?
My weekend was cool. Did some shopping. Had Soraya and her boyfriend Russell here. Had some nice meals. Got some nice albums this week. So got to hang out with the wonders that is Annette Hanshaw. She was a chanteuse of the 1920s and early 30s. In fact, her career lasted 8 years, but it's like she did all of these wonderful records. And so I finally tracked a bunch of them down, and they came from the UK, which made me very happy once they got here. And me and Julie made an evening of it, just hanging out and just binge listening to Annette Hanshaw. For those of you out there wondering about Annette Hanshaw, check out YouTube. And 1920s chanteuse. One other note, the music of Annette Hanshaw was also featured in a movie called The Sita, S-I-T-A, Sings the Blues. I just ended up getting my DVD copy recently also. So if you're looking for something visually stunning, but yet touched with some old world musical fascination of the late 1920s. It's a very enchanting story. It'll teach you as much as it will entertain you. It's just that type of a thing. So yeah, so that being said, yeah, that came in, the Twitch broadcast. They did a after hours, Twitch from 12 midnight to 4 a.m. I did a jazz show, which I was emulating, my hero. And, that was Jay Andres of WGN Radio, and he had a show that was on in the middle of the night, and it was a favorite of mine when I was a kid, and I did a similar thing Saturday night from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m., and it was really rather cool, just becoming the all-night jazz jock, which that was a wonderful thing.
Was it like Kenny G?
No.
Smooth jazz.
Oh, John Tesh.
No.
How about Yanni?
No. No, dude. No. No. Miles Davis. Miles Davis, okay. Lee Morgan. Let's see. Lionel Hampton. Fats Waller. Dizzy Gillespie. Charlie
Well, I
Parker.
don't know them, but I know of them. Yes.
Yes, see that's what I represented in that show, and I was rather proud of that show because of the simple fact that here it is, I got an opportunity to do something I always wanted to do, and I got to do it, and people got to experience it. It was very cool. So yeah, That happened Saturday night to Sunday morning, and then what happened after that was
Did you get your like total jazz voice out? Did you be like, now jazz? Did you like pull out like the sifter and like the cigar?
He doesn't do a lot of speaking between records.
No. Well, in this particular case, I did. Oh. In fact, I introduced.
I stand corrected.
Oh no! The jazz show was more of a show than just me spinning records. So, like every sixth or seventh record, I would go ahead and I would go into an outro and then into some intro and a little info, and I would have the album standing up so that way you could see it in the lens of the camera. So so it was real cool. I mean, did some Lionel, I did a whole bunch of stuff here. Did the Roy Merriweather Trio. I did T-Bone Walker. I did
Did you play any jazz artists?
What?
Never mind. That's okay.
Well played, Mike. Well done.
I'm shitting with you, Ivan, man. It's all good. I'm glad you had a good weekend. You had a good Twitch show.
Well, of course you didn't play any jazz artists, Mike. You didn't play Kenny G.
I know what you're trying to do there, Jeff. And okay, just excuse me for a second. It seems like Scott was trying to get connected.
Okay. I don't see one in the chat. Let's see if I can get him in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm adding Scott to the chat.
Yeah, it was funny. I checked an IMDb on Tia Carrera. She had a really good, 92 through 94. And
that was it?
It kind of, she's had steady work. I'm surprised. She's worked a lot in animation.
Oh, voices? Okay.
Like voices.
That's cool.
Like a lot of Scooby-Doo, Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, okay.
A lot of different stuff that I was surprised about. But yeah, other than
Wayne's World, that was it.
Other than Wayne's World and True Lies.
Speaking of We're Not Worthy, it's our chief correspondent to the News of the Squared. It's Scott!
Hey!
Woo!
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a Scott? I don't know.
Yes, we do.
Are you sure?
What do you say there, Scott, my man? How's your groovy thing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me again.
Well, welcome back. Glad to have you, man.
Welcome back, man. Oh boy, we were in the middle of the conversation about Wayne's World and Austin Powers.
Well, no, Ivan was telling us how he played a jazz show and he had Kenny G.
I did not have Kenny G.
John Tesh, I think.
John Tesh. Probably Yanni. Definitely Yanni.
Some Yo-Yo Ma.
Yoko Ono.
Oh my God! You mean that mood calling that you did with the saxophone player that they tried to pass off as jazz? Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Did you at least play the Billy Joel jazz album? No, of course not.
My poor uncultured friend. I'm so
Rockin',
But I know Jeff. I know you know jazz.
I do. That's why I'm giving you a hard time.
I know. See,
that's why I'm like sitting here going, "Oh, you played Kenny G and John Tesh."
No, I know, but you know where I go with the music, man. Shit, starting to give me a bad time.
Well, that's why I said I'm joking. I'm like, what? Ivan finally gave I know Ivan doesn't have like the good stuff lying around where it's like, okay, I'm gonna pull out my brandy and my stitcher and my cigar.
Oh,
and
you're such a
now.
No.
Yeah,
Well, you know, Ivan's eyes, Jeff. You know, he was at the record store, picked up a perfect record for a show. When he put it on, he put on his glasses, found it was Thelonious Skunk.
Oh God!
You know, one of those knockoff ones.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Thelonious Skunk. God.
I've had a few.
Ivan, have you ever been called out for owning a knockoff that you thought was legit?
Yes, I have had moments where I've had some bootlegs and
someone came up to you and said, "Dude, that's KO or whatever."
Yeah, just KO. Well, bootleg, third party, just unlicensed pressing. Yeah, I own quite a few of them because the fact that if I don't own them in this format,
the originals are the originals are either too expensive or they're non-existent.
Exactly. So do I pay $8.95 for the almost as nice looking knockoff against the $3,000 near mint original in the original paper sleeve? Yeah, well I just for the playability and just to enjoy it and just to share it and everything doesn't actually have me justify owning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Just because it's like some things that sometimes aftermarkets come up with some things that really surprise you.
Okay.
So it's not a terrible thing.
So Scott, how you been? How was your month, or I don't know how long it's been since I think it's pre-quarantine since you were on last.
The last time I was on was the New Year's show.
Oh, jeez, yeah, that was pre-quarantine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I was going through some things, and not doing so well before the virus hit. But one of the apartments opened up, and it was the one apartment that hasn't been done since like 1950 because the tenant wouldn't let us. And so it's like, yeah.
Did you find Jimmy Hoffa?
Not quite. Sorry. But, we were about 3 weeks into that, and the virus hit, so that knocked me out from going into Brooklyn because I am not getting on that train.
Mm-hmm.
And so since then, just been pretty much staying home, playing it safe. Sue still has to go to work because she works with animals, so we still have income coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And the zoos are closed to the public, so what they did was they split the employees into 2 teams.
Wait, your wife works at the zoo?
Yeah.
Why did we never talk about this?
I have mentioned that before.
Yeah, she mentioned working with animals, but
yeah.
Well, who could more?
Okay.
Hold on a second. Works with animals is different than working at the zoo. Works with animals, okay, maybe a gerbil or a guinea pig. Works with the zoo.
Well, that's super cool, man.
Jeff, what are lions and tigers and bears? Oh my, what are they?
I mean,
They're
animals. That's what they are.
They are creatures of the
is.
wild.
Yes.
So what animals does she work with at the zoo? See, now this is good stuff.
Well, since the COVID virus has come in and she's immune deficient, they've had her put in the kitchen. So she's making the animal diets right now. But she's worked with...
Wait, well, now this is kind of cool. All right. So which animals is she feeding? All of them?
All of them, yeah.
Okay, so what on average does an elephant eat?
They don't have elephants at their zoo.
Okay.
No?
Okay. The zoo she's at, it's part of the zoo system that's run by the Bronx Zoo, which is of course for wildlife. Yeah, I forgot. WCS. But anyway, at the zoo she's at in Queens, they have mostly North American animals and farm animals.
Oh, so I haven't fit in perfect.
He does sort of look like a hungry goat.
That new avatar you're rocking at, Ivan. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Or an old goat, one or the other.
Okay.
But so on that side, it's more the sheep, horses, blah, blah, blah. On the other side, she's worked with the sea lions, pumas, spectacle bears, bobcats, poodoo, a whole range
what's
of animals.
Poodoo?
It's like a super miniature deer.
That's a real word. I thought it was just a swear word in Star Wars.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. Like, wait, what is that? The poodoo?
Poodoo, yeah. And when I first moved to the city, she worked at Central Park Zoo, so she's worked with like the polar bears. She used to come home with penguin bites all over her legs, and you know, she worked with Japanese macaques, as you say, Japanese macaques.
I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't know how to pronounce those.
Oh, I don't know.
You know something, Jeff? Truthfully, if I didn't have a wife that worked with a macaque, I wouldn't know how to pronounce it either.
Oh, well.
Okay. So yeah, and the ones you were referring to last week are rhesus macaques.
Oh,
is how you pronounce it.
Wild monkeys.
Wild monkeys.
Wild monkeys.
But yeah, that's what she does. And with the zoos closed, they still have to go in and feed the animals and, keep track of their health and
are they letting the animals walk around? Because I've seen a couple things in some of the zoos where it's like they had the thing at the Shed Aquarium here in Chicago where they were letting the penguins walk around all over the place. It was,
that was.
I remember that. I remember seeing that.
That was cool. No, they don't let them walk around in the general public areas, but they are put on exhibit every day just so that they can get their exercise and be outside. And that also gives the keepers a chance to clean their holding areas.
Right.
Okay.
And the sea lions are still going through the quote-unquote shows. And I say quote-unquote shows because the shows are actually a cover for checking the animal's health. When they have the sea lion raise the flipper, they're checking underneath the flipper for any cuts or anything else like that. When they have a bark, they're checking their teeth, So they're doing a full exam during these quote-unquote shows.
Are the zoos doing kind of live streams for people who want to watch them? They can have the health check and then have a video stream for anyone who wants to watch it?
I know the Bronx Zoo has some cameras set up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which areas, but a lot of the zoos, they set up cameras in the holding areas or out in the fields, that you can watch. I know Central Park Zoo has a penguin cam. So during the daytime when the lights are on, you can watch what the penguins are doing in the exhibit, things like that. But no, they don't live stream the feeding shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mostly farm animals and then big cats and there's some sea lions. It sounds like no gorillas, right? Doesn't sound like gorillas.
No gorillas. Even though at Central Park Zoo, she worked with the macaques, like I said. And those are ones you don't want to be around. Spider monkeys.
Apparently not.
Mm-hmm.
It was always fun watching her feed the piranha.
Oh.
Wow.
Wait, hold on a second. So what do you feed? How do they do that? Do they just put in a giant?
Put in Bond villain henchmen.
Yeah.
They just poured it in the tank. And actually piranha, there's this whole stigma about piranha, but they really, if you stick your foot in a school of piranha, they're not going to take it down to the bone in like 1 second. They'll mostly swim away. They're actually pretty docile fish. The only time that they get like that is if they aren't fed at all.
Right, they got to be really hungry.
All right. Other than that, you could jump into a whole pool of piranha and they'll just swim away from you.
So it dispels the whole theory of the whole, like, the James Bond villain with the tank.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Stigmatized. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah, that whole thing started with Teddy Roosevelt because he happened upon a group of piranha that hadn't eaten for a long time. They threw a cow in, it was gone in like 5 seconds.
No.
And the whole thing stuck as that's the way they are. Period. But it's the same thing like with a shark. A shark's not going to doesn't normally attack humans, and if it does, it's very hungry and mistakes it for a sea lion.
And sharks with freaking lasers on them.
Yeah, that too.
But they took the staff at the zoo and they divided them up into 2 crews. So it's like one crew works 1 week, another crew works another week. So if one crew gets sick, they still have another crew. And, but it's great. Sue works like 1 week, off 1 week, and she gets paid for 2.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So, we're set as far as we're okay with money. Sue always has hoarded toilet paper, napkins, paper towels. That's one of those things where even before the virus, if it was on sale, she'd get a ton of it.
Got it.
So we were good with that.
So speaking of people who we have to deal with hoarding things, that goes straight to the hardware store. Any interesting, more of the same usual bullshit, Mike?
Same usual bullshit, yes. Everyone's stuck at home doing home improvement projects instead of going on vacation. So every day is like a weekend here. And yeah, it's taxing.
More people walking in without masks again?
Stupid, like always.
2 people today with no masks. And we'll see a lot of people who just have it over their mouth and not their nose.
Mm-hmm. See that a lot.
Because they'd be all like, it's hot. Like, try wearing it for 8 hours.
I saw a meme that addressed people like that. Wearing a mask over your mouth and not your nose is like wearing a condom with the tip cut off.
Yeah.
But no, things it's been usual. The usual crap we've had for the last 2 months. It's been unchanged. We're just been very, very busy. The busiest I remember in memory ever at the store, because this is unprecedented, and people have nothing to do but just work on their yards and work on their houses. So
try to keep this from getting stir crazy. I mean, it's
people starting to use up their kegerators. Like usually we'd have like 2 refills. Like I restocked our CO2 for kegerators just before St. Patrick's Day, but St. Patrick's Day got blown out of the water because I was at
what's the kegerator?
That's the CO2 canisters for people who have they buy the kegs of the beer on tap at home. The carbonation. That's what that's about. They buy the CO2 cans so they can have the kegs of beer and have it on tap at home.
Right. For people with their own dens or with their own, rec rooms.
But at this point, everyone's fed up. Everyone wants to go outside. Everyone wants to party. So they're buying the kegerator CO2s. So, but it's been an interesting week. The day after we recorded last week, our internet went down. Somebody was at the pole and somebody crossed a wire or something, and so for an entire day we had no phone, no cable, no internet.
Yeah,
back to the old days.
Yeah. So we had to have the Comcast guy, 20 minutes on the phone with Comcast to place an appointment, then wait an entire day. Then he showed up and he's doing the social distancing. He's got the mask and the gloves. He didn't even come inside. So he went up on the pole and he fix the thing, lickety-split, but then he says, oh, yeah, your router is like 5 years old. Here's a new router because you're not getting the speed you're paying for. I'm like, okay. So then the router went right down again because he disabled the old one. So I had to go down real quick and change out the router. So, but what else? Been doing jigsaw puzzles. We got a little bit of flooding here around by me yesterday.
You think?
Yeah, we had lots and lots of rain. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, I saw
Holy
the Chicago.
cow.
I saw the Chicago River is flooded so much that it flooded over Riverwalk and Lower Wacker Drive is flooded.
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, there's flooding all over Chicago. But we got a little bit of water in our basement, but nothing serious because 3 years ago we changed the downspouts and that helped a lot. But just this much water is nowhere for it to go, so got a little bit in the basement, but it's fine. We just put a few towels, no damage done.
Okay, just a bit of seepage.
Yeah, a little bit, not bad, not as bad as we used to have it.
Okay.
Yeah,
anyway,
people at the store had a worse attitude lately, Mike?
I'm sorry?
People at your customers, have they had like in general worst attitude lately?
No, a lot of people have been understanding, and I say maybe once a day I'll get someone say thanks for being open or thanks for all that or stay safe and all that. But most people are pretty understanding. I'm the one who's cranky. I'm the one who lost their vacation because of this shit. So I'm the one coming in with a thundercloud over my head. And when I get home, I have to like decompress for like an hour because I just get so upset from these people who are just flooding into here and like this place is assholes and elbows and I can't, have my vacation. So, well, but things been okay though. It's been all right. We've just been obviously for enough.
What's the craziest thing they've asked for so far?
I think I brought it up a few weeks ago. I don't. Somebody asked, a lot of people asking for elastic so they can make their own masks.
Okay.
And of course people asking for sanitary wipes. We can't get those. No one can.
Right.
Everywhere.
Right.
It's out everywhere.
But like you don't get anybody like walking in going, hey, got any underwear?
No. We used to have some clothing. That's right. Somebody was asking for some crazy stuff, but we didn't. Obviously, we don't have it, but. We try and carry all.
Somebody walk in and be like, I want pizza.
We do sell frozen pizzas.
Do you really?
Yeah, there's a freezer up by the registers, and we have half times frozen pizzas because there's a bar in Johnsburg, a neighboring town, and they have their own frozen pizzas, so we sell them here. And so we have a pizza oven actually. I could buy a frozen pizza and throw it upstairs and put it in the pizza oven. I got it for like in 20 minutes. I'll have a frozen pizza for lunch.
Okay.
I'm
how are they? Have you tried them?
Oh yeah, they're good.
Okay.
The meat lovers one is good. You don't get any of those. Like there's a pepperoni and a sausage, and I think there's a cheese one. I wouldn't know.
Man, because I mean, how can you not love pizza? I mean, I love pizza.
What situation isn't improved by pizza? Thank you, Wade.
I'm surprised the big seller isn't toilet plungers for all the toilet paper.
The first couple weeks of the lockdown, we had a lot of people coming into the store and taking a shit in our toilet so they can ration their own toilet paper at home. That wouldn't be like the sole purpose they'd come in, but a lot of people, and I still get a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm just browsing." I'm just out just to get some air. Yeah. Oh well.
Man.
Well, that's
So yeah, hardware store is what it is. So So how are you doing, Jeff? How was your weekend?
How was my week? Trying to think. It's funny. Sometimes I'm like, okay, what did I do this week? I spent a lot of the weekend checking out a whole lot of these Toastmaster International Speech contests, like from all over the place. I mean, I saw one that was technically based in Hawaii, a couple out in California, one from Las Vegas. And it's kind of cool because you get to kind of see what it looks like from people from other places and whatnot. So it's kind of neat to check that out. And saw a movie. I don't know if any of you guys have got Xfinity, Comcast, but they did like this watch-a-thon thing this past week. So took a little bit of advantage of that and watched something called Bad Education. I guess it's an HBO original. It's Hugh Jackman and Allison Janney, and then Ray Romano's in it too. And it's about basically this school district where they embezzled like a whole crap load of money. And Allison Janney, you know what? I mean, it's a solid movie, and of course, as usual, Hugh Jackman's great in it. Allison Janney, I mean, it's like you can put her in just about anything, and she's just phenomenal. I mean, she really is. She's one of the better actresses in America, and it's kind of funny because she should be like right up there with some of the great American actresses, and yet I don't think she ever really is put in that breath, and she should be. Because she's done a lot of amazing stuff, whether it be TV or movies, and I'm always surprised by that. But yeah, I guess I'd give it 4 out of 5. I mean, if you're looking for something with a little bit of gravitas to it, it was certainly worthwhile. And then trying to think of anything else this past week, trying to think about
doing the Zoom meetings, the public speaking stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that with Toastmasters because it's been something where I get to see people and whatnot. Like we had a meeting last night where it was 2 of my groups combined and did a meeting, and we had like almost 80 people. So it was pretty cool. I don't like some of these contests where I'm going, like from around the country or around the world. Matter of fact, that was pretty cool. I saw a contest in Jakarta, of all places. Basically out in Asia, which was really crazy because, just because, I wouldn't have done that otherwise. So it was kind of neat to see that.
Oh.
But, seeing a lot of contests. I'm trying to think about content wise, if there's anything of note that I'm trying to think of off the top of my head that I picked up, because a lot of stuff is ending right now. A lot of these different shows. So, we'll see.
Okay, man.
So.
Good.
Hey,
all right then.
What was that?
I'll be right back.
I says, well, all right then.
All right. I thought you said I'll be right back.
So I'll be right back after these messages.
I have
man.
I have a possible breaking for you, Jeff, since you're more into it. Former WWE star Shad Gaspard is missing off at California coast.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay.
Whoa.
That came out about an hour ago.
Whoa.
No, it was out earlier this morning. But yeah,
Wow.
I haven't heard much about it. And in fairness, he hasn't been with the WWE in a while. But yeah, that's too bad to hear. The other thing is Becky Lynch apparently is pregnant, so we won't see Becky Lynch for a while on TV.
She won't be body slamming anybody.
She won't be being body slammed, that's for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and especially with all this COVID-19
Yeah, if
stuff.
she's pregnant and she's in would that mean she's got to be in a tag team?
Oh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Because there's 2 people. That's the joke.
I know. I thought you were going a different direction with that. But
Me
okay.
too.
Trying to be funny. That's me.
You were, but I thought you were going a different direction with the funny. So
He was front and back.
yeah, that's where I thought he was going. But like, damn, Mike. Okay, well, that's why this show's rated R.
Of course.
Sometimes a harder R than others.
Yeah.
But you want to have it any other way.
Well, I just laugh because it's like, there's Mike going for the G-rated joke, and we turn it into like an X-rated joke.
That's Jeff's job.
Sorry.
Hey, he doesn't corner the market, Mike.
No, I really don't. Ivan does a pretty good job too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny.
And
like, I have friends of mine. They're like, what's your podcast about? I'm like, well,
potty humor.
Yeah.
Fart jokes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we haven't done any fart jokes
talking
in a
about
while.
TNA, you know. Yeah.
No, we don't talk about TNA that much, in fairness. It's just...
All right. We did some, though.
We did once in a while.
Yeah. That's why we kind of reserve that for the news, though, the crazy stories.
I mean, in fairness, we don't talk a lot of... I mean, we don't do a lot of the, oh my God, did you see the tits on that broad? We don't do a lot of that.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about that, but we have, I mean, not solely that. I mean, we touched upon it, but then we also had those moments where it was just like, okay, sex robots, wow, here we go.
Yeah, the first few episodes, the first year of this show, Jeff was all about, hey, sex robot news.
Wow. But it was fun, though.
And Jeff's on the website, and he's...
I mean, let's be honest. I want to know.
And he's worried about me putting dildo pics up on the up on the page. Jeez.
No, there's a little difference between articles about sex robots and giant pictures of dildos.
Well, but they're both artificial. I mean, it's not like putting a real thing up.
But
Facebook might have to. Facebook would have issues with some of the content we discuss, but.
Well, yeah, that's why we don't do the show on Facebook.
No.
I thought about that a few times. It's like we should do like the StreamYard thing and do a live show. I don't know how fast we get yanked, though.
No. Somebody would report us. Some ne'er-do-well.
They'll take us down so quick.
Yeah.
They would take us down so fast.
So it was about 2 years ago we started this whole thing, man.
Yeah, or we could, in fairness, if we did the StreamYard thing, we could do it off of YouTube. But then everybody's got to see us. Nobody wants to see us.
No, I've had a couple of snarky comments from people out of YouTube saying, "Oh man, it's a great video, man." Like, we know it's just it's a still shot.
Yeah.
People trolling
us.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
We just troll them back. Or if it's...
But then
you want to pay for video privilege? Okay. How about giving us a tip?
You know what tip they give you, Ivan.
Yeah, I know.
They give you more than a tip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they give you the whole middle finger. I know that's right.
No.
I don't think so.
Not without lube.
Huh?
Not without lube.
Hey, we could always take over Ivan's Twitch channel for a show.
I know. I thought about that, too. We really could simulcast this on your Twitch channel. We could be doing this on your Twitch.
It's fine with me. I don't care.
We probably should drop this on your Twitch and see what reaction.
I think he'd get a net loss of subscribers from Twitch.
You think so?
No, I wouldn't.
What is Ivan doing? He's not spinning the records, man.
Well, what we could do for YouTube is if we know somebody who programs, we could have them make all movable avatars that respond to our voices.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, every freaking thing is this avatar thing now.
This Facebook avatar thing.
Yeah, I dived in.
Just reminds me of the Mii's from Nintendo.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that shit. I ain't doing that.
I did it for fun.
My favorite part too. I mean, I don't take shit, but what am I going to tell you? It's just,
you know what it is?
Shit, it just...
You know what it is? You're sitting around on COVID-19 and you're like, fuck it, who cares? I got nothing better to do. Let's make this stupid avatar.
I just play Yahtzee on my phone. That's a big time sink for me, is the random number generator.
A random number generator.
I got the number I wanted. Yay!
Actually, I saw the perfect puzzle for Mike. It's put out by Heinz Ketchup, and it's
I think we're going to talk about that.
Puzzle.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Squares. I think
we're going to talk. Yeah,
we'll talk about it on the Squares today. But we finished that Elvis puzzle.
Yeah, how'd that turn out?
It's good. It was good. I like those better than like the mini puzzles, the mini pictures that all fit together to make one big one. Rather than having like one landscape or one scene, it's better doing that, because one of the early ones I got at the start of this whole pandemic, I got the cereals one, And was it the
I saw
Nabisco?
that
Yeah.
was cool.
Or was that the
Yep.
the cereal one we did with like Frosted Flakes and even like the
Yeah,
older
with the
ones
mini
like
box.
like Sugar Stars. Like I don't remember Sugar Stars.
I do.
Yeah. Of course
I do.
you
I
do.
remember. Sorry.
Sugar Stars?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
had to
mean,
make our own bowls out of Adobe in the backyard.
Well, they had crispy critters.
Nah.
Okay, they had rice
What?
crinkles.
Crispy critters?
Yeah, they had crispy critters. Post cereal made.
I remember
a cereal
crispy
called
critters.
Crispy critters.
What they do?
And then
Take
they
a whole
had-
bunch of grasshoppers and like make you eat them, or
No, I mean, they were just all these animal-shaped crisp, and they tasted like alphabets, crispy critters. Then they, what was the other one? What was the other one? There was, there was, rice crinkles, and they had an oriental motif.
Rice
You know,
crinkles
Rice crinkles.
before Rice Krispies.
Yeah,
It was
this
it
sounds
was
like
the
knockoff.
it was the competitor to Rice Krispies.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yes.
it's like Snap Crackle Thud.
Yeah, these were all
Exactly.
Kellogg's cereals. That was a fun one to do too.
Yeah.
But it
Oh,
had like
Kellogg's.
12 different boxes of like Frosted Flakes. So they're like, oh, which Tony the Tiger is this one? Oh, it's not that one. Shit. But the Elvis one was fun. We liked that one. And I think I'm going to get another one, like a bunch of Beatles album covers. I like that one too. I saw it.
Hey, Mike, when you get done with those, do you set them up? Do you put them on a cardboard backdrop? And then
No, we don't frame them. We don't save them. No, we leave them up for a day or two, and then we just break them up, put it back in the box, and then we're done.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought maybe
So then, when you do it,
people do that.
We wait until the next pandemic, and then we'll put them up again.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
okay.
By then you forget.
Right, then you'll forget how they all went together. Of course, we're not the kind of people that like breaks it into like 4 or 5 sections and then carefully places each section in the box. No. I make sure every single piece is separated from itself.
That way
Like,
you
no
can forget
cheating.
it. Ivan was speaking of old cereals. One night, Ivan and I were sitting around his sister's kitchen, and him and I, in 2 hours, I polished off a complete family-sized box of Cocoa Puffs, and Ivan polished off a complete family-sized box of Captain Crunch.
I like Crunch Berries.
Wow, wait, hold on a second. An entire family set. See, the problem isn't with Captain Crunch, the problem isn't that you ate it. The problem is that at times Captain Crunch can be very sharp.
Yeah, it's kind of grating.
Like,
it can be
It can be grating, so it's like he ate an entire family-sized box.
especially dry, like with no milk.
Oh no, we had milk.
Okay, all right.
We had milk. Oh
well,
man, after that box of Cocoa Puffs, I had the thickest chocolate milk you could ever see in your life.
Oh my gosh, it was
Great.
dark, man. It was so dark.
I
And
just
of
eat
course,
cereal
we
dry.
passed
I don't
time.
eat cereal with milk anymore. I just have it dry as a snack.
I'll do it. I'll go both directions. I'll go either with milk, if I have to. But sometimes you're right, Mike. I'll go more snack.
Yeah, I like making cereals into smacks, like that. I mean,
It's like the larger ones, like honeycombs. Those are good for snacking.
Oh yeah, I like the honeycombs. I also like the sugar smacks. The Diggum Frog sugar smacks.
Right.
Yeah.
But not the
I
post
told you
sugar
about
cooker. This post sugar crisp with the bear.
I told
Right.
you about the Cheerios that are the peanut butter chocolate ones, right?
Wow.
They have peanut butter chocolate Cheerios?
Oh, they're amazing.
Wow.
They are.
I don't know about
I've had
peanut butter
I've
and
had
milk though.
I've had the chocolate Cheerios. The chocolate Cheerios are no slouch either.
Their chocolate peanut butter Cheerios are just that. Oh, wow.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you open up the box, you can smell it from like around the corner in the apartment.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Oh,
I usually snack on Fruit Loops or Cinnamon Toast
Yes,
Crunch.
Fruit Loops or Apple Jacks. That's mine.
Hey,
Or
as long as we're talking about Fruit Loops, any thought about the redesign on Toucan Sam?
I don't care. I know some
No?
people are upset about it because
I was
it's
going to
this.
say, this is the part where usually Ivan goes off on this stuff about animation.
I saw that they. Go ahead,
I
Ivan.
already did a redesign on Toucan Sam, and I can't show it on the show.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You should see what Ivan did to the captain.
Oh, we went crazy with a marker, and we just totally redesigned these cereal boxes. We made our own creations. What was the name of yours, Scott?
Herpy Puffs. Because the bird had all these big lesions in the beak.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Sounds so appetizing.
Both by General Thrill cereal.
General Thrill.
You don't want to see the logo.
No.
That was Ivan.
No, I don't care about the redesign of Toucan Sam. I don't care.
No.
At one point, wasn't General Mills supposed to be trying to make like a whole like connected universe with?
Yeah, I think we maybe talked about that
talked
once.
about this.
All the cereals were going to like have their own like webisodes or something. I don't remember. I don't remember.
Like Count Chocula and Frankenberry and Blue.
Oh, I used to love that stuff.
I like Frankenberry was my go-to. Frankenberry
and Count Chocula, and Brute, and there was another one. There were 5 of them actually. Of those monster cereals.
There was the Mummy, the Werewolf, the Ghost, the Frankenstein, and the Dracula, right? Or wasn't there like the Creature from the Black Lagoon?
I think for a short time.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look. Anybody got anything in terms of? What am I talking about? I'm the TV guy around here. Because it's interesting. Xfinity's giving us access to the Peacock network apparently. So, but none of the new content is there yet. But it's interesting because it's like, oh, that's nice.
So it's all like coming soon.
Well, no, you have
previews?
access to like shows that they have that are currently that are like Universal, NBC USA,
Universal,
that kind of
right.
stuff, or movies like that. So like Jurassic Park and the Fast and Furious stuff and Law and Order and all that kind of stuff. You have access to that kind of stuff, but their new content is not there yet. It's not coming until much later.
So it's just a test pattern right now then, huh?
No, you get access to all that stuff. You get access to all it's kind of like how Disney Plus, where you can like watch all the Avengers movies and all that stuff, or you can watch all the
all the
stuff.
Okay. Yeah,
right, all the stuff that they already have content for, they have, and it's up, and you can.
And it's up and it's running. Okay, yeah.
Right, it's up and running, but like the new Saved by the Bell that's supposed to come out, that's not up yet because they haven't released that yet. So that stuff is like coming later in the summer, is my understanding. So, but honestly, I'll be honest, I'm a little bummed. I subscribe AT&T on phone, and I thought maybe because who was it that gave a free year Disney Plus to like their subscribers?
I think it was Sprint.
Was it Sprint? And I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do anything they're not doing anything like that for HBO Max. That they're not like, hey, here's a free month to try out because you've been an AT&T customer for, you're currently an AT&T customer. Here, we'll give you free access to this for a month or so.
We're acknowledging your allegiance to being with our system.
Yeah. I mean, not even a week. I don't even think we're getting a week or even a month. I mean, geez.
To clarify that Sprint one, Jeff, because I have Sprint, that was only to new people who signed up for Sprint.
Right. Screw all the loyal veterans, the ones who've been around for so long.
Exactly. We've had Sprint for about 15 years.
Right.
And screw us.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, that's
right. It's all about bringing in the new blood.
Well, yeah.
Trying to lure in the new people and get them to switch.
Just like it's interesting. I will probably finally get a chance to see The Mandalorian coming up because I guess I guess they're going to do the Broadway version of Hamilton on Disney Plus coming up for July 3rd. I think they're doing the movie version on July 3rd. That they're bringing it to Disney Plus. So that might be when I finally get a chance to take a look at Mandalorian.
Did you see the play, Jeff?
I did.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm curious to see what the Broadway version looks like because it's all the Broadway people who are in it. So I'm curious to see. But
yeah, all right.
So I'll go a different direction. I'll ask Mike.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a new Star Trek series. I'm curious your thoughts.
Strange New Worlds? Yeah.
No, the thing with Pike or whatever.
Yeah, that's the new series. Yeah, that they've had the little shorts. After season 2 of Discovery, CBS found out that everyone likes Captain Pike. So they put out these shorts with Rebecca Romijn as number 1 and the one guy who plays Spock and the guy who's the Captain Pike. And it's good. I like him. And I as soon as season 2 of Discovery ended, I said, I want a Captain Pike show. And CBS are like, okay, here you go. I'm like, yay. I'm in for it.
I guess
they're eyeing one of the guys who was in Crazy Rich Asians. They guess he's going to play Sulu. So they might start transitioning in the TOS crew.
Yeah, Crazy Rich Asians, great movie.
Yeah, that's a solid.
I'm all in on this Pike show.
I guess I'm just, as somebody, I don't know, I just feel like they're going backwards. It's like they keep mining all the older stuff, like certain aspects of Star Trek, and it's all stuff from like the 60s and that stuff versus okay, there's some of us who are interested in what about moving forward.
But there's a polarization of a reboot. Like a lot of I wasn't big on the J.J. Abrams reboot of Star Trek. So we're doing we're like I said, we're taking this tiny bit before Kirk, and now we're in the future now with the early 25th century with Picard. So I'm all for this because I just like the dynamic. I think there'll be some great episodic television that'll bring us the TOS nostalgia.
I guess I don't want to. You know what? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I don't need TOS nostalgia. I need next generation nostalgia.
Well, that's what Picard is for. But
Picard in fairness, that's not nearly.
It's got a different vibe than if you want a next generation, then just watch the Orville.
No, that show sucks.
I'd like to, but they haven't come out with any new episodes yet.
No, season 3. I don't even know if they started season 3. We're just going to go right to Hulu.
Wasn't that supposed to happen sometime soon?
I don't think they've started filming season 3 because maybe they're partway in, but then they had to stop due to the COVID. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how many shows had to end up short on episodes. Like a lot of the CW shows ended up short on episodes.
Same with the CBS.
Yeah, some of the CBS's ones. It's interesting because this past week was supposed to be upfronts, and very little was talked about in terms of what current programming is coming back or what's out there or what's not. I just thought it was interesting. Most of the CW shows are not really starting until the beginning of 2021, I think. Although they do have stuff slated. Like I guess the end of Supernatural is going to be on their slate. They bought a couple of we talked about this before that people are going to start buying up content to put on their airwaves, and CW did that. They bought Tell Me a Story from CBS, and then they bought Swamp Thing from DC Universe. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And then Fox bought LA's Finest, which is the Bad Boys spinoff, which is Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba. So we'll see where that goes. But otherwise, not
everything's in the works.
Yeah, everything's kind of in the works. I'm curious to see
because nothing can get filmed.
Well, the thing is, people, some of these people have stuff in the can. It's just, when is it happening, or when are they planning on using it? Like Netflix at this point can release normally and watch people drool.
I was hoping we'd get Black Widow by now if it was out on streaming.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, they're waiting for the theatrical release. The thing is, I'm not sure if we're do you see theaters opening in August?
No.
Depends. If
the numbers go down fast enough.
It's going to depend.
That's starting to dark, man. I mean,
this is all now. It's turning into a political conversation, and it's unfortunate because
it is now state by state.
Right.
So
that's what it's turning into as far as Florida opened. Yeah, New York can't open, but Kansas can open. And
I think that's going to be the key. I think that's going to be the real answer. The real answer is going to be, okay, if you're not going to have New York and LA and Chicago to open on your show, then it's not going to happen. I mean, I think you saw the thing where they're talking about moving Wonder Woman now to a Christmas release.
Oh man,
I can't blame them.
I want to see the movie. Just do like they do on iTunes. I'll pay, $10 to watch it for 2 days.
What if it's 20?
I have to.
'Cause I'll tell you right now, I was interested. I thought maybe I'd check out that Scoob thing because it's up there and available.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, $20.
$20 for a 48-hour rental.
And I'm like, man, I'm not paying the $28.
Well, maybe if one of my if I do a password share with one of my friends, and then I can watch it one day and they can watch it for whatever.
Well, or I'll take it a step further. Okay, if I had in fairness, I got 4 kids. Sure.
Yeah, that's how Trolls made. Yeah, we talked about how well Trolls did.
Right. Well, and there's a perfect example. If I got kids, sure. If I got 2 or 3 kids, $20.
I saw some of the action figures for this Scoob movie hitting the stores. And obviously, while going out to getting essential supplies, I'll make a quick detour down the toys aisle.
You mean like Transformers?
The Netflix series is supposed to drop in June, so the Walmart exclusive recolors of some of the toys from last year's Siege line, they're showing up. And I'm hoping for that show. Should still be dropping next month, so I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, I saw some of these Scoob action figures, and I saw they're doing other Hanna-Barbera characters. They had Muttley, I guess Dastardly is in this, as well as Blue Falcon. Yeah, Blue Falcon and Dynamite. I love that show, man.
Oh no, they're in the preview.
Yeah, it's cool.
They're in the preview.
Yeah, I might. Maybe if it was a weekend. The thing is, I'd do it if I could have a few of my friends over, but I can't.
Right. And that's the problem. The problem is, I feel like this is aimed at, okay, you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or you have a family. If you don't, are you really going to want to pay $20? Are you really going to pay $20? You don't really want to pay $20.
Yeah, because we talked about this in past shows with 4 kids and 4 sets of popcorns and drinks. It could be like a Benjamin.
Right. Well, and that's I think what they're counting on with this Scoop thing is, okay, there's most people have more than one person in the household. Okay, they'll $20. Sure,
and
okay.
Although some states are opening, but a lot of places, their people are still keeping their kids close and indoors and whatnot.
Yeah.
So maybe can have the Scoob movie come out, and then they can justify having to watch it for kids.
Right. Well, and I think that I think that's the example too. That's the reason why we're not going to get the Black Widow movie. We're not going to get the Black Widow movie because there's enough people.
They want that sweet box office money.
Right. Versus with Scoob, they're going to make their money on this, even without sweet box. And in some ways, they may make more off of this not sweet box office. They may make more of it with the fact that it's new content available.
Yeah. Like Disney Pixar cut their losses with Onward, and they finally, because that was right at the start of this pandemic. Mm-hmm. Like I remember, like that was the last movie we saw in the theater. It was my friends and I. We went and saw Onward, and like the theater was half full for a kids movie on a Friday night, which was pretty much unprecedented. So it was, they put it out like a month and a half later. They put it on Disney Plus. So, but at least with Trolls and Scoob, they can get that 48-hour rental and still get a decent amount of coin.
Yeah.
If you think about it, though, after things do get going again and reopen, how much of a percentage of the theater-going audience, the people that go to theaters, are going to say, "Oh no, too soon. I'm not going to,
I think there's some.
That.
There's some, yeah. They're like,
so.
I don't know. If I've, it's been 2 months. And like me, I've had some of my coworkers who come to me saying, I've been, working full time for the last 2 months here, and if I haven't gotten it by now, or I might have already had it. So some people are willing to just roll the dice and just like, I'll just be sure my hands are washed. I'm not going to buy any snacks. I'm just going to walk in. I'll pay with my phone, so I don't have to, or about get the, whatever, you do the Fandango. You scan the QR code on your phone, and you just sit and don't touch the armrests or whatever, and you can watch the film, and if I'm sure they have like every other seat will be, unavailable or something like that. So,
you'd like to hope.
Yeah, you'd think. So, I'm sure there's some people who want to risk it, but at this point, I'm like, no. But we'll see. But I'll see how things are by August or September.
Yeah. Hey, as long as we got a couple seconds, and before we get to anything else, it was funny. Somebody asked me to take a look at who I would put down as my top 10 favorite TV characters of all time, and I gotta be honest, I found it difficult.
Oof, 10?
Yeah,
I saw that, and I've been thinking about it ever since, and yeah, it's tough.
Just
I don't know.
10. Because you always feel like you're forgetting somebody. Like, just for perspective, and Mike, did you put yours down, or did I?
No, I did not participate.
You didn't? Okay. So just to give you guys an idea, and I'll tell you right now, I know there's people I didn't have, or I forgot, or I should have considered. But again, these are my top 10, not anybody else's.
Right.
And in no particular order.
Right.
I had Archie Bunker from All in the Family.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good.
Agreed.
Yep,
I had the Fonz from Happy Days.
Okay.
And I'll tell you right now, some of it was who were the characters that when they came on screen, everybody always was like the buzz or who popped or that kind of thing. So number 3, my third, again, this is no particular order, it was just me running down names. I had Brockmire from the Brockmire Show because I still think that's one of the great. I think if you've not seen Brockmire, it's totally worth it. Watch the first few seasons and you'll really have a good time with it. C.J. Craig from The West Wing, because we talked about Allison Janney, and Allison Janney is phenomenal. I had Lucy Ricardo from I Love Lucy. Will McAvoy from Newsroom. I wanted a character from KRP. I went with Les Nessman.
All right.
I could have gone with Johnny Fever, but I really felt like Les Nessman was kind of the crazier character.
The other one of them your characters.
I have Al Bundy because if you're going to have Archie Bunker, you have to have Al Bundy.
Yes.
At least in my opinion, to anybody who thinks that there hasn't been a character like Archie Bunker, in some ways Al Bundy has been more Archie Bunker than any character out there, and in some ways he exceeds.
Good at Archie Bunker.
Well, in some ways he exceeds Archie Bunker because there's certain things that, you get the point.
Early days of Fox and TV was getting more risque.
Yeah.
It was a groundbreaking show for its time, Married with Children.
Yeah. I have Harvey Specter from Suits. I know you guys are that's not a show you guys are aware of.
No.
And then I picked up Johnny Drama from Entourage. I don't know if any of you guys watched Entourage.
I remember watching I watched a few episodes of Entourage. I remember I watched one episode. They went to San Diego Comic-Con to promote his Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that episode.
And then Johnny Drama's there because he was in Viking Quest and it's victory. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's the episode where they're trying to sneak There's the episode where they're trying to sneak Drama into the Playboy Mansion because he got banned.
Playboy Mansion.
Which is hysterical. And it's him getting in trouble and him sneaking in, getting in trouble, and they find out the real person who was the culprit behind screwing up Hef's monkeys was Pauly Shore.
Okay.
So yeah, no. So I had those. Obviously, there's ones that I missed, or things like, for example, like somebody mentioned Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, and I went, "Oh crap! How did I not think of that?" And just like somebody said to me, it was like, "Where are the women on your list?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a few, but not nearly enough."
You had Lucille Ball.
Yeah, it's funny. Originally, I didn't. I originally had Arnold Jackson from Different Strokes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Shirley.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
Arnold. Okay.
Yeah, Arnold Jackson.
Okay.
From Different Strokes. Arnold. What you talk about, Willis? You know that Arnold.
Right, Arnold. Right.
But
okay. Yeah. I love
it. What about you? I'm just curious. I know I'm not putting you guys out on the spot. Any characters that, off the top of your head?
70s television was very influential to me because not just cartoons. Let's put cartoons aside. We're like actual television show characters.
Well, I tried to stay away from superheroes too, because otherwise I could have gone a lot of directions.
Oh yeah. Mork from Mork.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Yep. He was influential to Fred Sanford.
Yeah, I had him initially on my list too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shows like characters like the very dynamic characters of exactly like Rerun from What's Happening.
Sure.
I loved him.
Okay.
Other shows, those Wink Martindale from Tic Tac Doe. I love watching that show.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you're
game shows. Well, but he's just a host, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't count as like a television show character.
Right.
What else? I guess I'd have to put Nafans in there, and of course, Spock from the original series. TOS.
Yeah.
It's still television. It still counts as TV. So.
No, I understand. So, like I said, I was trying to stay away from that, and I was trying to stay away from
nerdy stuff.
Trying to stay away from like I could have put Wonder Woman down for Linda Carter.
Oh yeah, of course. Adam West, of course. Duh.
Right.
Jesus.
I'll give you an example. I didn't put Olivia Benson down. SVU. Geez, she's been on that show forever.
Yeah. Any notables from you, Scott?
Let's see. Well, a little bit off, but the Baker version of Doctor Who.
Right.
I liked him. Definitely Archie Bunker and Al Bundy. Come on. Gotta have them in. Which one of the honeymooners would be a hard one?
Ed Norton. You gotta have Ed Norton.
Yeah, I think more Norton than Jack.
He was more. Like Ralph Cramden, of course, he's the star. He's the hero. He's the central characters. But without Ed Norton, Ralph Cramden is like 60% at best.
Yeah.
Let's see, Jimmy J.J. Walker.
Yep,
comes to mind.
Of course.
Right.
Oh shoot, man, this I had. Well, you guys were talking about it. I thought of a number of them, and of course, I forgot them already.
Sure, there's a
there's a whole bunch.
That's the part that's crazy. Is it's like we could sit here and come up with a list of like 100 all by ourselves now.
That 70s show, Kitty and
sure.
Her husband.
We haven't even scratched the surface. Barney Fife. Like somebody brought up on my page, like Barney Fife from Andy Griffith, or Hawkeye Pierce from MASH.
Definitely.
Mama's Family.
Yeah,
there you go.
Tony Soprano came up a lot.
Oh, Tony Soprano, of course, yeah.
Now, I wasn't a Breaking Bad person, but Walter White's name came up like a million times of people.
Fred Gwynn in Car 54, Where Are You?
And the Monsters, yes, thank you.
You know, Fraser Crane, who was in 2 shows, Cheers and Frasier. Although it's funny, I was thinking about Norm more than I was that, but, you know. Norm
I was
Peterson.
more of a...
Bob Denver from the Many Lives of Dobie Gillis and Gilligan's Island.
See, right? You go even further deeper than I do.
Yeah,
so
60s, Gilligan,
right,
I liked Gilligan's Island. And I always wondered why some of the shows aren't in color. I don't get it.
Just like somebody brought up Mary Tyler Moore, you know.
Yeah, Ted Knight, of course, from
Ted Knight. Yeah, I mean
Louis De Palma from Taxi.
El Noldo from
that
MASH.
got brought up too.
I
think I'm allergic to this war. El Noldo.
I mean that's why I kind of brought it to bring this up today. Is it's like, geez, you know, just to try to get this to 10 was brutal.
Oh,
I mean, it was just. I mean,
I could run 50 off easy. So.
Oh, easy, yeah. and still
me
sit there
too.
and go, no, that person needs to be there, this or that. Like, there's some shows that people have listed here that I'm fans of, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that I forgot that show, or I didn't have that show, or you know, yeah, no, absolutely. That's why.
Jeff, what's your favorite cop show? Because we throw out a lot of comedies here in our lists because that's just who we are. But what about like dramas? Like what is your favorite cop show?
Well, those are 2 different questions.
Yeah, what was your favorite cop show?
Boy, you know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head about cop show. It's hard to not off the top of my head say Law and Order SVU.
I like NYPD Blue.
You know, that was okay to me. I wasn't as
I like the Jimmy Smits run.
NCIS. I like NCIS.
NCIS.
Yeah.
Is that considered a cop show?
NCIS?
He's like a detective, I guess, right?
Well, I guess that's a detective show. I mean, if we're talking about detective show, that's the Moonlighting, which, you know, David Addison needs to get thrown on there immediately. Because Bruce Willis back in the day when he first started was he was the shit.
Yeah, he was top stuff.
Right. That's before Bruce Willis, big time movie actor Bruce Willis. That was, you know,
and recruiting artist.
Yeah.
The return of Bruno.
Respect yourself. That was the thing in the 80s. All of a sudden, everybody thought they could sing. Like Bruce Willis did that, and Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy did it. Well, I like that one song he did, "Party All the Time." That's a great song.
It is.
There's an ongoing thing in Hollywood that if you can be an actor, you can sing. That's happened ever since movies went to sound. Everybody thought, oh, let's get them all to sing. Man, vast majority, nah, not so much.
No, Patrick Swayze did She's Like the Wind for Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, there have been a few.
He only did that one song, and that's fine. That's all he had to do. And one hit. He made his one hit.
But,
so what was your favorite cop show, Ivan? Was it
my favorite cop show?
NCIS? Is that what you said?
Was NCIS?
Yeah.
I like all the Law and Orders. I haven't followed those. I'd love to watch those. And then Criminal Minds. I love Criminal Minds.
Joe Mantegna.
Criminal Minds. Yep.
I feel like I'm missing stuff when I talk about cop shows. Like there's something like I should be thinking about from like the 80s or something that I really should be like, oh yeah, that's my cop show. But I'm kind of drawing a blank at the moment.
Columbo.
Yeah, that's not me. That's definitely not me. It's definitely not Jake and the Fat Man either.
Maybe Monk?
Then you had Cannon.
Or Starsky and Hutch?
Speaking of Monk, did
Mannix.
you see the
Mannix, right?
Did you see the video, the Monk video that was out there?
You did?
No, I didn't.
Okay, the Monk video. There's a video of Monk talking about COVID. It was
Okay.
pretty funny. It's pretty good.
I'll have to find it.
But yeah, Monk, you know what? Monk should probably be on my list. Shit.
Yeah, Monk should be on your list.
Yeah.
Monk was cool. That was a good
Monk,
show.
yeah, there's the exact. You know what? If we're talking, well, no, see, that's not a cop show. I was gonna say Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Burn Notice isn't really a cop show.
Not really. Not squarely. No.
I used to joke that we should all talk like, what's his name on Burn Notice? It's like, when you're doing this, you need to make sure, like, where you over-explain everything. There was a period of time when, like, I had friends of mine where we literally were doing that as a joke.
In this moment, I explain it to you.
When taking a poop, it's important to remember that you need to lay out the toilet paper first.
And then
then you cut it in squares, and then put it in rounded. And then make sure that you lay it out next to you.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
This toilet paper will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's a different show. That's a different show.
I didn't care for Mission Impossible as a kid. I didn't like that show.
I like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That was always good.
Yeah, who was the actor from The Man from U.N.C.L.E.? He was in Superman 3. He was the villain in Superman 3.
I'm trying to think. He also was in. He played somebody in the forensic in a cop show. I'm trying to think of his name. Oh shit. And when I don't want it, it won't show up. Damn it! I can't think of his name. Sorry, but
Robert
I know
Vaughn.
you. Huh?
Robert Vaughn.
That's it. Robert Vaughn. Yep.
See, for me, I think it'd have to be NCIS, and I did go to school with Jenny Shepard, Lauren Holly. We were in drama club together. She was cool. It'd have to be probably Blue Bloods.
I like Blue Bloods.
And Criminal Minds would probably be my 3.
Oh, you know, now that I'm thinking about this, young Jeff would kick my ass for not seeing T.J. Hooker.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, kick my ass.
I make an effort to watch the T.J. Hooker Christmas special every year.
There's a T.J. Hooker Christmas special?
Shit, yeah, there is.
Oh my God! Is it like
it's amazingly bad.
Is it?
Yes.
The whole concept of what's her name?
Heather Locklear.
Heather Locklear and that young Heather Locklear in like a tight freaking cop uniform.
Oh.
That the young me is like screaming at me, going, "There you go, there's your cop show right there, buddy."
Okay. Oh, come on, Adam 12.
Emergency.
I must have missed Adam 1 through 11.
With Martin Milner and what's his name?
That's before my time, I think.
Would you count?
It's still on MeTV.
Would you count the Andy Griffith Show as a cop show?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Technically, it is. I mean, the main character is a policeman.
Well, if we're going there, then Barney Miller.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Barney Miller.
True that.
See, like, I know
remember that really bad show Cop Rock that was on for a while?
Yeah, it was only on for like a few episodes.
That's what I'm saying. It lasted a few episodes.
Yeah,
it was like some kind of cop musical thing.
They were like 20 years too early with music and shows.
And of course,
they thought that was going to work, and they were like 20 years too early.
And I
now
like that
it would work.
Now, there was a show. If you want to talk about technically, this was a cop show, but there was a movie called Alien Nation.
Yeah.
And they made a TV show for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that show. It was only for like 1.5 seasons.
There's a part of me where I should be saying Hill Street Blues, but
I'm surprised nobody's brought that up.
The worst one, in my opinion, was Reno 911.
There are a lot of people like Reno 911. They think it's
that's an acquired taste in comedy. Of course, 21 Jump Street, duh.
Yeah.
With a young Johnny Depp.
Yeah, young
Holly Robinson.
DeLuise too, and young Holly Robinson before she married what's his name, Rodney P.
Mm-hmm.
The QB.
I used to like McLeod.
Oh, did you see they're going to do a reboot?
Good job, McLeod.
So HBO Max is going to do a new version of Head of the Class.
Well, I like Dragnet.
Yeah, I love how we went from Brandon straight to Dragnet.
Ivan's still on cop shows, but
yeah, I know. Ivan's still on cop shows.
See, I only liked the Head of the Class when Billy Connolly was on.
Yeah, see, I like the Howard Hessman version, but that's me. But
how about Carter?
What?
How about Mr. Cotter?
What about Mr. Cotter? Do you think they'd ever remake that show? They'd ever reboot Welcome Back, Cotter?
No.
Just the idea of having a class of learning disabled and making fun of them wouldn't fly.
Yeah, the sweat hogs were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably.
You'd have a better chance of getting back hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Ooh, what?
Mr. Cooper. I remember hanging with Mr. Cooper. That I
do not remember hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Cooper.
Steve Harvey.
No, that wasn't Steve Harvey.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. There's another show you're thinking about that's Steve Harvey. That's not Steve Harvey.
Let me see.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper is not Steve Harvey.
Let me see. I seem to remember it was, but of course you know my state of mind most of the time.
Yeah, Montana.
Yeah, come on, keyboard work.
With Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, as we all go to Google it.
We all Googling.
All right. Cavs.
Nope. There's
no.
No.
Mark Cooper. It's
Mark Curry.
Mark Cooper.
Don Lewis.
Okay, so which one was Steve Harvey in then?
There was the Steve Harvey.
There
was
Steve
the Steve Harvey
show.
show. There was a Steve Harvey
And
show that he
Hanging with
did.
Mr. Cooper. I thought it was called Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
It is.
It is. That's what I said. Okay, well, I sit corrected.
No, it's okay.
But it was still it was still you'll have a better chance of getting that back than or Saved by the Bell, which I think
Saved by the Bell's happening.
Yeah,
Saved by the Bell's happening. There's actually a trailer out, and there's actually a really funny scene in it where like Slater, I guess it's like the principal or something like that, or a teacher, and he's like, I used to tell that to your dad about girls. And he's like, as a matter of fact, I told it to your mom because she was the girl. And it was that was the funniest line. I'm like, okay,
there was the Parkers with Steve Harvey.
Oh, is that what it
okay,
was?
maybe.
And then there was My Wife and the Kids, the Steve Harvey Show.
The Steve Harvey Show, I know he was the school teacher.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, okay, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, trying to, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, they're redoing, I thought it was interesting, they're redoing Grease. I guess they're trying to make Grease into a weekly.
Why?
Why not?
Because it's the one that they want.
There you go.
Okay.
Because musicals, while Cop Rock didn't work when it happened, you know, now musical TV.
You think they'd learn their lesson after Grease 2?
Yeah.
You know, all right, I'm going to say it. I like Grease 2.
I liked Grease 2 when I was in rotation in cable years ago when I was little.
I mean, I'm not seeking it out, but it's like if it's on, I'll watch it.
There's a young Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes, it is.
She was pretty cute in it.
And she's looking awfully good in that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you know, it's
like look at. I was thinking about the other day about all the like failed like TV shows they tried to make from hit movies, like 9 to 5. Did you know they tried to make a TV series out of 9 to 5?
I remember.
Yeah, it didn't last like 4 episodes or 6. I mean, it was a very short run. It did not succeed. But 9 to 5 was a great movie. I loved Dabney Coleman as the terrible boss. He was awesome in it. Probably his best role.
Wasn't there at one point, weren't they talking about a revised 9 to 5 at some point recently, and then it kind of died out?
Well, then The Office came, and they were like, okay.
No, I mean like a real motion picture, like a real 9 to 5 kind of thing. Like, I thought they were talking about doing a new version of that, but yeah, I don't. I guess here's my question: we got 100 episodes. What do we feel like the most memorable things, other than like talking about sex robots?
My favorite was, I guess, well, this kind of biased towards me, but I enjoyed watching the Marvel movies leading up to Endgame.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
That was fun, reviewing leading up to the Marvel films. That was fun for me.
I still remember the time we were talking and the train was on fire.
Yes! Jeff saw the train on fire out his window.
Yeah, that
was a classic episode, yeah.
That was harrowing.
Yeah, why is there a train on
harrowing
fire?
Tales of action and thrilling adventure.
Seriously.
The engine or the passenger cars?
I couldn't tell, but it was on fire, and I'm like literally 100 yards from it. Like, I could see it out the window.
That's
like, I'm
crazy,
watching
man.
them do all this stuff. Yeah.
What about
you? What about
the
you,
one
Ivan?
time
What do you got?
Ivan was trying to live phone in from like the bus or something like that.
Yeah, there we go. Ivan trying to or Ivan was driving with the top down in his car or something like that.
Yeah, you can hear the window rolled down. You can hear all the street noises.
Yeah. I love how Ivan's got the window open and we can hear like the entire barrio all like.
Oh man,
I think one happened. I think one happened like 2 weeks ago when you guys were talking about Star Trek versus Star Wars, and Ivan totally pulled your chain.
Yeah, with Chewbacca
about Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah,
that one had me rolling on the floor.
You know, we should have a top 10 foods that Ivan eats in the middle of the show. Seriously.
Spin the wheel of Ivan snack food.
Yeah, seriously. The top 10 Ivan foods in the middle of the show.
It's like, somebody mentioned, it's like, yeah.
One of the episodes.
It was the other day, it was a couple weeks ago, I was mentioned, Angry Steve eats all my pretzels at game night. And I was like, ooh, pretzels. And so Ivan goes to get some pretzels.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah. See, Ivan, during this show, I proved to you that you can eat a frosted covered strawberry Pop-Tart without making any noise.
No, I don't think it.
With a live mic.
The sad part is, Scott, this is the person who told me about how it's important to be professional on air and not to do shit like that. And so this is the guy who now comes on our show. And it's like, what's you eating, Ivan? Oh, I'm having Pop-Tarts. You doing this on the show, Ivan? I don't care. Fuck this.
Squares of the Round Table Bingo. Center squares. Ivan eats.
On today's show, we have a special guest, Ivan Rivera, as a Tiny Bowl Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, well,
we should have a top 10. You know, the funny part is we should have got. That's what we should have done, Mike. We should have gone through all the episodes and found like all the times Ivan ate food.
That's like all of them.
I mean, I was gonna say, is that every episode? Now that I'm thinking about this,
I think it's like at least 60-70% of them.
I know.
It's a 2-hour show, Ivan.
Might be more. You know,
I can't go with 2 hours without food. It's like, oh man.
You know what the funny part is? We could probably take all the episodes, all the parts where Ivan's eating, and turn them into one episode. And now the Ivan
Squares Round Table supercut of Ivan eating.
Ivan eats. Complete with Ivan messing with his headphones, so it sounds like he's doing some weird thing with like chiropractic.
Yeah, the last few of them, it was like cracking bones or something, man. Yeah.
And all you need to do is throw in the Archie Bunkers in there, and you're set for an episode.
God.
Oh, man.
By the way, I'm just curious, Mike. You've watched his shows. You've watched his shows on Twitch. He doesn't eat. Well, no, what I'm talking about, he doesn't talk, so therefore he doesn't have to worry about it. He just sits there.
Well, his mic is off, and you just hear the music that's piped in directly.
He does drink his chocolate milk, and once in a while, some sort of wine cooler or something.
Oh, no, cherry wine. It's called cherry wine. It's like a...
Yeah, it's a regional kind of red soda pop.
Soda thing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Is it cheer wine?
Cheer wine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But don't let the chocolate milk fool you. It's actually amaretto and Bailey's.
It could be a white Russian.
I made a Colloid coffee and I put it in a chocolate bottle.
But no, to answer your question,
really very good.
To answer your question, Jeff, no, he does not eat on his Twitch show.
No.
But there are times where, like, during a song, he'll go off camera. We presume just to go to the bathroom, but I'm sure he might.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
He might be raiding the fridge during, like, American Pie or something.
Yeah, I was going to say. How many times does Ivan play American Pie to go to the bathroom?
Right.
Well,
or MacArthur's Park or whatever.
It'd be another good episode to have of everybody mispronouncing things.
Oh yeah.
Half the show's been Ivanisms.
I'm the king of that, man. The king of him. I'm always
You know what? That's probably an entire News of the Squared at one point or another.
Or my laughter. You can string all my laughter together.
We've talked about that for News of the Squared when you're not available. Of just having a giant laugh track while we're running the Square.
Well, we did it with the Ivatron 3000.
We've joked about bringing that back too.
Yeah.
It'd just be a matter of inputting it into the system somehow.
Well, yeah. I mean, 3.5 to 3.5, you got it.
Meh.
So
too much work.
That's the problem.
That's the
problem,
right?
We've gotten to the point where it's like, we're not going to do it. That's why we end up not reading anything right on the News of the Square either. It's like we're not doing any checking in advance or anything.
Show prep. What's that?
Show prep.
Yeah, what is that? That's a foreign thing.
That's why I laugh. It's the only close thing we do to show prep now is I at least now check the articles that I'm finding for News of the Squared to make sure they're current.
Right. I check the date and I'll skim the article.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
What
was the list we did that time that you got mad at me that was from 2010?
I think it was like a Billboard or a Rolling Stone list or something.
A music list. Yeah.
About music, and I'm trying because I'm trying to get Ivan involved in the show, so I found this list.
I said, Jeff, this list from 2012.
Yeah. One for me. They just reposted it. I didn't do it.
Oh, now show prep is just Ivan. Do you have everything open before we start the show?
Yeah.
Jesus.
All the tabs open. Yeah. We haven't been hearing as much of the pop-up ads.
Yeah. Well, because I'm on the phone now versus when I used to have to pull up the news the other way
on the computer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's made a huge difference, in fact. I guess we should get to the last dance of the last dance. Huh?
Yeah, we can review this final thing. Yeah, I don't know if you've been watching this, Scott. I presume no.
Watching what?
The Last Dance on
there
ESPN.
we go.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, they wrapped it up last night, Sunday night, for the last two episodes, leading up to the end of the Bulls dynasty.
Yeah, bullshit.
It wasn't bullshit. I was still entertained by it overall. I was expecting something different.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I think the problem is, here's the problem. I think the problem is ESPN hyped it one way, and what it really was something else. And that's the problem.
A big pecker pull.
Well, not anybody. No. Only Michael Jordan's pecker poll. You get that right.
That's what I'm saying. That's a Michael Jordan pecker poll. It's all Jordan centric, and
he earned it, man. He earned it.
Yeah, I mean,
he might have earned it, but share the wealth. I mean, the story should have been bigger in some regards.
In fairness to a lot of people who aren't Mike or I, or you, Ivan, a lot of people are thrilled with it being so Jordan centric, and they're happy with what it is. Maybe part of it is that, again, like for example, I was really looking forward to getting more of the behind the scenes in the locker rooms and the
like
practices and that stuff.
Never before
really
seen footage.
Right. I kept hearing about that, and I'm like, we really didn't get that much of it. We got a lot of it, ironically, in the last episode, where we got a lot more behind the scenes in the last couple episodes. Like, for example, we all talked about the flu game. Well, apparently it wasn't really the flu. It was food poisoning from some jerks in Utah.
Never should have eaten that pizza.
Right. Well, and it's funny because this once again proves why you don't live in Utah, which is you can't find any place to order food after 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
That's welcome to Utah.
Hey, Jeff, just to interject a little bit, all right? You were talking about behind the scenes with Jordan and such. Okay, I was watching Jimmy Kimmel the other night, Kimmel at home, and Jerry Seinfeld was his guest.
Yeah.
And they referenced the clip where he ended up going into the locker room and everything, and he was shaking hands with Jordan. And I don't know, maybe just me, but he seemed a bit clumsy.
Yeah, it was a little out of place. It was a little awkward.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Which part? With Jordan or
with Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is weird. I mean, it's like you've got these big celebrities who come in.
Yeah, like in at the end of the championship in '98, I guess Leonardo DiCaprio came back.
Yeah.
And just to like, hi, nice to meet you. It was a great show, or great game or whatnot, and that was it.
Yeah.
That would have been fine. But Jerry's just standing there like, hey, Phil. Like, that was just, it was a little just awkward. Just him standing there just being
I think the only thing that was amusing about the Jerry Seinfeld thing was him. He's like, that play over there.
Yeah, he points to the chalkboard and he's like, this isn't going to work, and walks out.
That's not going to work. That was funny.
Yeah. I mean, he had the saving grace to exit quietly, at least leave a chuckle behind. I mean, that was classy.
Yeah, he was in because it was the
they
same.
All laughed too.
Then Jordan just kind of like, shook his hand and just kind of bolted. I was like, dang.
Well, in fairness, it's like, okay, the game's over. You got a million other things going on in your brain. Okay, here's Jerry Seinfeld. It's like, okay. I mean, you just, did your thing for 40 plus minutes, and now it's different. It's not the same as, Jerry Seinfeld, okay, I'm going to do a 40-minute set, and then people are going to come back to the dressing room and can talk. It's not kind of this, I don't know. It's just not the same animal to me.
Well, okay, all right. All right, maybe I could see that point, but at the same time, you got cameras rolling. You would always, at least if you don't like each other off camera, make it seem evident that you do on camera. So it's just like the whole type of.
I don't think he didn't like him. I just think it was kind of one of those. Okay, you're here. I'm here.
You're here.
Okay.
What the fuck do I do with you? Is that what we're talking about here?
It's kind of like, I'm tired. I just got done scoring a lot of points playing a game, and here's Jerry Seinfeld. All right. I like Jerry Seinfeld, but I got to appease this guy, and then it gets awkward, and then it's like, okay, bye.
Yeah. And, of course, we had, in episode 9, we had another installment of What Pisses Off Michael Jordan This Week.
Yeah. They really should go the other direction. What doesn't piss off Michael Jordan?
Right.
That would be a better thing. By the way, there are a lot of articles out there about Scottie Pippen not be happy about how he was portrayed in this thing.
And not just the 1.8 seconds in 94 or whatever.
It's funny because they spent I think that whole segment in the one episode with Steve Kerr may have gotten more total time than Phil Jackson did.
Yeah, like he'd ask Phil Jackson and be like, "Okay, he answered the question. That's it." He got more time than Paxton did.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, there are entire
that was still made up, completely made out of crumbs. Yeah. Oh my God.
They just squandered the chance to talk to the Chicago Bulls as a whole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just seems like it's interesting. Like, for example, they talk about that they're playing Utah, and I kind of found it interesting that the only person that John Stockton was willing to talk. Can't help but notice that Karl Malone was not available. Which was interesting to me because I'm like, what, Karl Malone didn't want to do it, or he wasn't available at the time, or they couldn't figure out a way to get Karl Malone involved?
You think maybe there'll be like an extended cut? Like,
oh God, I'm not watching it. I mean, as it is, there's something about how, we're going to give you the exclusive extra footage of Game 6 of
because you're sure that they got interview footage, and then they had they asked and here's another thing about, sure, this was a lot about Jordan, but his kids got asked one question, and it was about their time in Utah, and that was it.
Yeah,
and we don't see him anymore.
I think it's really interesting, and this has not gotten mentioned.
A lot of short shifting in this film.
Here's the thing that's interesting, and I'm not usually one to go here, but I'm going to go here now. It's interesting because it's like they're talking about how really, really uncomfortable it was for them to be in Utah and all that stuff, and they keep showing a whole shitload of white people. And it's not like, and in fairness, it's not like Utah's got a large black people population. So... Yeah. I thought there was an underlying tone possibly. And in fairness, again, how many Utah jokes can we make? One, because the rest are all true. I mean, seriously, you can't get pizza. You can't find any food after 10 o'clock at night. I mean, what the hell?
In Salt Lake City?
In Salt Lake City? I mean, that's just crazy. That's
maybe it was a weeknight.
That happens on a weekend too, dude. I mean, keep in mind this is the city that had this is the state that had the porn czar that we used to talk about. I don't think we ever talked about that on the show. Actually, I think that didn't make the cut.
What's that?
Utah used to have a position called the Utah porn czar, where they paid someone to look at porn and whether or not it should be on the internet in Utah or that kind of thing.
Interesting.
They literally paid someone to watch porn.
Oh boy, I hope his happy ending was consistent.
And they paid
but anyway, this was good. It was entertaining, but it just it fell flat in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in fairness, the one thing I can say is I expected them to absolutely bury Jerry Krause.
Yeah,
they did not do that. They did not do that. What I will say is the answer that Jerry Reinsdorf gives as to why they had to break up the team.
Yeah, they have another segment where, okay, this is what Jerry said, and they hand Michael the iPad, and you're watching his reaction as you watch it.
And the best is you can tell he's trying to couch it. Like he doesn't want to say too much. Like he doesn't want to say anything that's really going to get somebody mad. And the other thing is, keep in mind, Michael Jordan's now an owner of another team. So, are you sure you want to piss off Jerry Reinsdorf, who might be able to make your life hell as an owner? Do you really want to play that game? So,
what's your response to when Michael said we could have gone 7?
Possibly. So here's the thing. That next season is a shortened strike season. So they didn't start playing until January. But Here's what I do remember too, which is Jordan injured himself slicing a cigar on slicing a finger on his shooting hand. Ooh. And they were talking about that Jordan might not have been available for like a couple of months into the season, even in the shortened season. So I don't know. I don't know that it really would have worked. I mean, you certainly would have needed Scottie Pippen, without question. And Scottie was at the end of his contract, and I don't think Scottie wanted to do a 1-year deal. I just don't. I don't know.
So the likelihood of a seventh from that viewpoint is remote.
Well, like I said, the problem is you can flip that in the reverse, which is that I'm just Googling.
What are you Googling?
I wanted to Google. I'm curious who won the Eastern Conference in '99. Because I'm not sure.
I had coworkers when I worked in my office job in '98, early '99. I had coworkers who went to that big rally at Grant Park in '98 after the second three-peat.
Right. So it's the short. Okay. So here's the deal. There's the strike shortened season, and I think it's interesting because the Knicks and Pacers. The Heat and Pacers were kind of the top two teams. The Knicks finished at 8 and ended up in the finals against ended up in the finals, and I can't remember who they played. Maybe that's the first San Antonio championship. I think that is. I think that's the first year San Antonio shows up with Tim Duncan. I mean, that might have been David Robinson and Tim Duncan. And if that's who it is, I'm not sure about the Bulls. That's two big 7-footers.
That's what I said earlier. Before all the extra research was, the likelihood of a 7 remote because you got many of the elements that would have made all that possible already. Coming to an end of his contract. The other one's like. Okay, my hand's all fucked up.
The thing is that it was what Reinsdorf said that he offered Phil a 1-year contract.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that, by the way.
Yeah, and could he have been done that without Krause's consent?
Yes. Well, he's the owner.
Yeah.
He's the owner. Sure. If that's really true. And that, by the way, that's the first time I've heard that. That is the first time I've heard.
And Phil said,
I offered him. Yeah.
And Phil declined because he wanted to respect Krause's, that was the albatross that hung over this whole miniseries about, he said, I don't care if you're 80-0. This is your last season coaching the Bulls.
But here's the interesting thing to me, which is, and I'm serious about this, which is, if Jerry Reinsdorf wanted to do it again, it doesn't matter what Jerry Krause wants.
Okay.
They could have done it again. At the end of the day, there are things that I remember talking to other people, press at the time, that I feel like, certainly got left out. And one of the talk was that Jackson and Jordan wanted to ace out Jerry Krause, and that Jackson wanted to have more power and more say. And kind of take Jerry Krause out of the equation. Well, that wasn't going to happen. That just wasn't going to happen. Nor should it, by the way. And in some ways, I feel like that totally got missed in all of this. And I know that that's not going to happen, but yeah, I based on the explanation and Phil's comments, to me, it puts it in a new light, which is, if Phil said no, then I put a lot of this on Phil Jackson. I put a lot more of this on Phil Jackson than I ever used to.
And like Michael Jordan said, it was more maddening to him that he could have gone a 7th championship with the Bulls.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the other thing to me that's kind of confusing is Okay, so you hear that Phil supposedly
was offered a 1-year contract after
was
Jerry
offered a
Krause.
1-year contract and turned it down. Why is there no comment from Michael on that?
Right.
And I know why.
Why?
Because that doesn't go with the narrative.
That Jerry Krause bad.
Well, not only that, but Bull's bad. Jerry Krause bad. Jerry Reinsdorf, they broke up the team. It doesn't go up with the broke up the team mantra that has been out there for 20-something years. But and it's funny because here's the best part. You didn't hear Phil Jackson denying that. You didn't hear Phil Jackson say, no, that didn't happen. Phil Jackson just said, yeah, I felt it was best to walk away because of Krause. That's bullshit. That's this entire time. That's the other thing that I've noticed in this entire docudrama is Phil Jackson has really basically picked his spots and was very, very, very paint by numbers on making sure that he didn't paint himself into any corners in any type or any sort of way.
Yeah, it was very diplomatic, just like Paxton. He was very. I think he was more of talking as more of an executive than less of a player and a coworker.
Again, there are certain things I just don't understand that didn't get talked about. Like, for example, Jordan. There was all this talk about how back in the day that Jordan was like, I don't ever want to play any place other than the Chicago Stadium, and then ended up coming back and playing in the United Center. Okay, there was never talk about the fact that we moved from the old building to the new building.
Yeah,
and
we
all
don't
of
talk
that,
about
and
the United Center at all. The fact
well,
that they changed stadiums.
Right, they don't even talk about that they changed stadiums. And to me, I think that that's interesting because,
it's the Bulls' home.
Even Jordan would admit that one of the big factors about being a member of the Chicago Bulls during the first 3 championships is the Chicago Stadium is a very, very different animal than the United Center because the United Center has 2 levels of skyboxes, and as a result, the mezzanine levels are not as close to the action as they used to be, like in the United Center. Everything is more receded back in the United Center versus where in the Chicago Stadium you were really on top of the action. If you had a seat in the balcony in the Chicago Stadium, it wasn't a bad seat. If you had a mezzanine seat in the Chicago Stadium, you were in great shape. You had really good seats. Except for the part where if you had got stuck behind a pillar, but other than that, and that place got loud. I mean, really loud. I mean, it was a smaller building. It got loud. The people were right on top of everything. Yeah, it was a different animal, and that's not to say I don't like the United Center. It's just
the thing is, when you're talking about the Bulls' last championship, and you're not talking about their home that got changed in the interim between the time Jordan first came to Chicago and the last championship.
I'm just surprised that Jordan doesn't talk a little bit about that at all. That just wasn't even a thing to be talked about.
Yeah, there are a lot of, we can talk all about the glaring omissions.
Yeah, well,
or stuff that we wanted them to touch upon, but they didn't.
Right, and in fairness, it was funny. I had somebody say to me, well, why don't you look at the story that they told rather than the story that you wanted? And I'm like, well, unfortunately, like I said, this was shown to, when they previewed a lot of this, the way they made this sound was, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls' last championship. Yes, I expected a lot from Michael Jordan. I didn't expect this to turn into, I expected the percentages to be higher towards Jordan. I did not expect the percentages to be... I expected the percentages to be more like...
balanced?
70-30, and this was more like 90-10.
The Jordan Show. The Jordan Show.
And by the way, by the time this comes by the time this is on, it'll be over. They're having a follow-up show to wrap up everything. And my favorite is they're going to have Stephen A. Smith, who's from New York, and Magic Johnson, the lifetime Laker, to talk about Chicago Bulls.
Where are the former Bulls players?
Yeah, well. Welcome to ESPN. Welcome to ESPN.
And I was hoping to get more from Rodman. But of course, we did get another dose of his hijinks because by the time he went off to go wrestle in the WCW,
I had totally forgotten that happened at the same time.
Yeah.
And by the way, no talk of the fact that later on Karl Malone was part of that too, and they had a match. Although I don't know that I think Karl Malone might have waited until after that all ended. But yeah, I mean,
and Carmen Electra was right there. She was another cameo, another appearance.
Yep.
Well, and again, why do we have Carmen Electra on? Because this helps the mystique of the rock star Michael Jordan and the rock star Chicago Bulls, which they had it. They really were. They really, in fairness, as much as we're talking about all this stuff, there isn't an NBA team that has the same mystique since. Where the entire world stops because this team is coming into town. That doesn't exist right now. I mean, the closest thing, in terms of any sport whatsoever at this point, the closest thing would have been if the Patriots were coming into town with Tom Brady. That might have been close.
Yeah.
Because
one time they did like an exhibition match in Paris or something, and it was like the Beatles were in town.
Well, yeah, no, because they used to have what's called the McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, right.
McDonald's Open, and it was the winner of the NBA. The NBA winner would go overseas, or at least it used to be at one point. I don't remember how that worked, but the winner would go over there and represent the NBA, and they called it like a tournament. But really, the NBA team always won, and it was not even close. But yeah.
So yeah, part 10 was good. And of course, they talked a little bit about his security guy Gus, who gotten cancer.
Yeah,
and
I thought that was a good story.
Yeah,
in fairness, I thought it was the Steve Kerr stuff was good.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Steve. Yeah,
I was aware of it. In fairness, Steve, again, I had dealings with Steve Kerr when I was back doing media.
Did you interview him?
I did. I've interviewed Steve. I've interviewed him a few times, and I think the most funny is the best story I have with Steve Kerr is I'm at the United Center for a game, and we're walking out. I happen to be walking out from the game, and Steve Kerr's walking out at the same time. And then so I said to him, I'm like, and it happens to be NC2A tournament time. And I said to him, so, because he's from Arizona. He went to the University of Arizona. And I said to him, I'm like, so what do you think your team's chances are this year in the tournament? And he's like, yeah, I really don't know. I don't think so. I don't think they're going to do real well. I said, well, I got to be honest with you. I think you guys got a real good shot at the Final Four this year. And I think that that's a good possibility for this year. So, I didn't regularly get press passes to get to Bulls games because it was too freaking hard. But I happened to get one about 3 weeks later around the time when the Final Four was going to happen. After that was pretty much announced. And Arizona got in the Final Four.
Huh.
I happen to be like...
You called it right.
Well, so here's the best part. I happen to be walking in the locker room. Steve Kerr says to me, he goes, you were so dead on about Arizona. Walked straight up to me. He's like, boy, I should have listened to you. I didn't think my team would have done that well. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's
it was
cool.
Kind of funny because
not only he remembered you, but he brought that up. It was funny because he saw who it was, and in fairness, there are not a lot of really big guys like me in the locker room, but he recognized who it was and saw who was having the conversation. And yeah, he walks over to me immediately. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey." He's like, "Hey, you were dead on about that Arizona thing, boy.
So yeah, as I was shocked when he came up to me and started talking, there were a couple other reporters going, "What is he talking about?" I'm like, "Well, I kind of told him he should have gone with Arizona, and I think he did, and I think he made a lot of money too. That's why probably too, but yeah." So yeah, Steve. I mean, God bless Steve Kerr. He won 3 championships with the Bulls, 2 I think with the Spurs, and then as a coach now, obviously he's won 3 with the Golden State Warriors. So, that's a lot of the reason too why they had a lot of Steve Kerr is, he's probably one of the best coaches currently in the game right now. And he coaches one of the best teams in the game right now. And he coaches the team that eclipsed the Bulls' winning record for a season. And ironically, he was on that team. So, that there's a lot of that to it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate we didn't get more from some of the other starters.
Yeah, but it was still fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now I was like that.
Delicious.
Of course he's eating. Center square.
Yeah, he's eating. What are you eating now?
Huh?
What are we eating now?
What's it called, honey?
It's turkey and cheddar on naan, and it's heated up with mayonnaise and spring mix.
Oh. I like turkey cheddar.
Oh. You didn't bring enough for the rest of us. You can't, Ivan.
I hope you brought enough for everybody.
Yeah, really.
Chewing gum online, eh?
Yeah.
God bless Harvey Korman. Yes. Rest in peace.
God bless Spicoli. See, I thought you were going Spicoli there.
No, that was from Blazing Saddles.
Oh, I was
channeling Blazing Saddles.
I was thinking about the one, but what's his name?
Mr. Hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Mongo like candy.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect timing for that because I think we're sputtering out anyway. So.
Yeah. So 100.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations to all of us for we kept our egos in check, unlike the Bulls. Our own dream team and our dreams in our own minds.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's that time of the show where everyone's like, okay, Mike, do the thing. I'll be
kind of.
Make it so. Engage. We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You know we get new content. And of course, Ivan's on Twitch now, where his DJ gigs for its JAVANIVAN on twitch.tv or download the Twitch app. And of course, our sister show, our brother show, sibling show. We'll give you a little non-gender specific news of the squared. Shout out to Scott!
Wow, he's right here.
Hey!
Why would I have to shout? He's right freaking here.
He's right. I'm still going to shout out to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
of course, you can download this show on, if you're not already, which you should be, dang you, our loyal listeners. Oh, you're on PodBean, Anchor, Instagram. Oh, yeah, that's my download site, though. Google, Apple, Spotify, and plenty of other PodBean type show platform thingies, so you can listen and download and put it on your phone and have Ivan's Food of the Week as your screensaver or whatnot.
You know what?
Send us a email if you like. SOTRTpodcast@gmail.com.
You know what? That's a segment we need. Ivan's Food of the Week.
Ivan's Food of the Week during the show.
Yeah, there we go.
That's like the soup du jour. Ivan's.
And you know what? Only took us 100 episodes to figure out a segment.
Yeah, we had an idea for a new segment.
Yeah, there we go.
Look at that.
Food for the week.
Yeah. So I guess this being the season finale of season 2, I guess, of Squares the Round Table. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thanks, Scott, for showing up. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Hey, hang around. Later in the week, we'll have our other show, News of the Squared, come right up at you.
That's number 50.
Yeah, number 50. Yeah. So
150 shows total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not including the New Year's special, which we kind of made that episode 85 and a half or something like that.
Oh, did we really? Okay.
Yeah, kind of kind of shoehorned it in.
Well, no, but 150. I mean,
technically
episode 50 is a big
100
deal, too.
official, yeah. So happy 100, everybody.
And actually, it could be argued because it used to be that Squares of the Round Table and Knots were the same show.
Yeah. It was a segment we usually tacked on at the end, which was like, let's make it separate. Content.
Yeah, let's make Mike's life a lot harder.
Be safe, everybody. Take care.